No way. I think for the whole time it was on mute. Can you believe that? Maybe people were tuning in, not hearing anything I was saying. That is so crazy. I thought that was absolute gold. You missed everything what Freya said and everything that we went through. That is so bad. Oh, I can't believe that. What are people saying here? What are people saying? I don't even know. Oh my goodness. Yeah, tag some people, get some things going. No wonder people was going. Oh my goodness. That means even the podcast wasn't happening. So let me start again. Maybe I got take two in me. Got take two. So welcome to the Real Life Game Changers podcast. So look, in this episode, you missed all of the other stuff because I think I was on mute. But thank you for the people who are listening live to tell me there was no sound. So I did something about it. I want to give something away super special. Yeah, what I'm going to give away is going to enable somebody to get their property deal, first one or their next one, rocking and rolling, get the team in place. And when I say team, I'm including investors, get the team in place to fund this and get it going. So if you want it, hit the share button and tag at least 10 other people. That's what you got to do. Look, what could a property deal make you? How much would you pay for that off like a deal package? 10,000, 5,000, something like that. So it's at least worth that. Or like, what's it going to do? Cash flow, I don't know, £1,000 a month, maybe 500 a month. Is it going to make you 20,000, 50,000? So to hit the share button, let me know when you've done it so I can give you a shout out. And then tag at least 10 other people in it. You're going to be in for a chance for winning that, what I'm going to give you. Yeah, and I got some other things I want to talk about. But so my guest tonight either hasn't showed up for whatever reason, so I don't know if that's the case, or my team member, which normally is the person that sends over the links and everything else to make sure that people have it and can have access, has let the team down. So we don't know which one it is. Put it in the comments. Which one do you think it is? Which one do you think it is? You think it's a no-show, or do you think that somewhere the communication is broken down? Either way, I am going to find out, and we'll take whatever steps that it takes to sort this out and raise the standard and keep the standard very high. So in this episode, while I'm here by myself, I will take some questions. So if you've got any questions about business, about the market, about how to handle the interest rates, the costs, anything to do with property, anything to do with business, anything to do with teams, anything to do with making money or investing money, any questions you might want to ask me about how to win Wimbledon, yeah, then let me know. So why I see, what questions are going to come through, what I'm going to do. By the way, let me tell you, the winner, I'm going to give somebody the winner today to qualify to be in for a chance to win. All you need to do is share this post, tag at least 10 other people. That will qualify you to be selected towards the end of this show. And that person, I'm going to give away the process, the system, the coaching, the mentoring, the training that they're going to require to get either their first or their next property investment deal. Yes, in this current climate, make it happen, raise the finance, and get that baby moving forward. So that's what I'm going to be giving out to the person who gets selected. So before then, I want to just go over to my calendar. Yeah, and the reason I want to go over to my calendar is because let's just put this in a couple of groups. Property investors with a group. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, the reason I want to go over to my calendar is because I want to share with you how to deal with a packed schedule. Now, none of this is here to kind of impress anyone. I want to help inspire people that they can do it no matter what is happening, no matter what they're going on. So there's some people that do know who I am. I have 4 children, 13, 7, 5, and 1 years old. I am in an awesome relationship that is spicy at times, so it keeps me on my toes. And I run several businesses across construction, property development, building new houses, hotels and resorts is what we've just launched. And I thought, well, how much effort is going into this is absolutely insane. We also have a magazine, we have a training company, and we simply love life. So I have that going on as well. And plus, I do travel around doing lots of research for spas, restaurants, gyms, workspaces as well, like office space, whether that be hot desking or like serviced office space. And I am also playing tennis 6 days a week where possible. Like when I'm not here, if there's not a tennis court, unfortunately, I'm not able to play. So I got all this stuff going on, right? So let me just take it back to the 7th of September. Yeah, so 7th of September, just saying that we started with Property Wealth Turbo, which is a 4-day event, totally intense. Like in terms of our team, we're circling up at like 7 a.m. in the morning, and sometimes we finish at like midnight. Yeah, so there are 4 intense days. Now, after those days, I went along and had a excellent tennis tournament. So I had so then in between I've got family life and business, right? But then at that weekend I had a tennis tournament, and then the day after I had another tennis tournament. So I had 2 tennis tournaments, one day after the other. And then going into that next week in September, going into that next September, where are we? It's September. So then we had a WEC event, yeah. So this WEC event was what's it called? This WEC event. Hold on a second. Where is that? September 7th to no, it's September. What am I talking about? It's October. So anyway, we're in October now. Yeah, so October. Then, so then we went to Liverpool. We had some projects in between as well for the construction company. So this is what we were doing. And then it was half term. So then I had the children and I had a little bit of time just to make sure I'm always with my family. The week after that, so then like business had kind of like dropped off, right? Oh, are we still there? Are we still there? Are we still there? So business had dropped off. Let me know if I'm still there. Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys still see me? Yeah. Just want to know that you can. Test, test, test. Hello. Can someone comment? Yeah. Am I there? Let me know in the chat. Yeah. Okay. So, so like in terms, I took my foot off the gas, but like I've had time with the children, right? So less time for business activity and moving things forward and all the rest of it. Yeah. So then the week after was what's called implementation week. This is a week where our partner program people, they come over and so like they have like work to do in the field. This was about deals, pipeline analysis, project management, all the rest of it. Totally amazing, absolute beasts who were here. We did so much things around finding deals, building a pipeline, putting systems in place, spreadsheets, mechanisms, systems, follow-up strategies, getting on the phone, qualifying stuff in, qualifying stuff out. And people save so much time, made so much money, save so much money, and all of this. Yeah. So then we did that. So then I finished that week by then going to play a tennis tournament, which is grade 3, which I got my ass kicked, man. Every single game. In fact, the first game I lost 4-love because it's like 2 sets, 4 games, and I only won 2 points in the entire game. And those 2 points wasn't even what I won. One, he did a double fault on the serve, and the other one was like he just hit it into the net when he was trying to smash it and kill the game. This was an 18-year-old kid that had played over 1,000 games. That's who I was playing against. And at that time, I'd been playing for 12 weeks. Now I've been playing for 13. Yeah, and I'm so determined, so committed, more than ever to continue that. Yeah, but that's what happened that week. Yeah, so then where are we? We need to be in October. Yeah, so yeah, that was October. So then we went to Liverpool half term. Then we had Liverpool trips. I went to Liverpool, to Anfield, and all of that good stuff. So then we did implementation week, and then last week, we had all of our meetings. Then for the really 2 weeks off, implementation week plus the half term, 2 weeks off, I had lots of coaching clients. I had lots of construction projects to catch up for the real life creative construction. I also had my own personal projects to move forward, with different meetings with different teams, different leaders, all of this, getting on top of all of that. And then on Thursday night, I traveled down to London. I was at a 3-day event where it was such a great process to get back into a position where I am like serving, I am like assisting. Being the person who runs events, leads businesses, so humbling, so good, keeps me down to earth. It was a great experience. Yeah, great experience. So awesome, guys. You can see a lot of people are tagging some people here. Just to let you know, my guest is either not come or is like a no-show, or my team member has let the side down by not being able to provide what they need to provide, which was the details for the person to log on here, or maybe some disasters happen. I don't know. Yeah, so I'll figure that out by tomorrow. To see what the situation is. But what I'm going to do by the end of this podcast episode and this episode that you guys are listening to live, I'm going to give away what it is required to get your first deal or your next deal, with a strategy that's going to move you towards your goals, with the cash flow and everything that you required. Everything is sorted, and raise the finance for it. I personally am going to work with you, and by the end of it, I'm going to show someone exactly how they can get access to do that and take part in that, which obviously means you've got to take action. So the action is share this. Let me know when it's shared. Gamal, thank you very much. Shared. Give you a shout out there. And tag at least 10 people. That's how you qualify. And at the end of, I'm going to do it. So I want to answer some questions. And while I'm waiting for some questions to come through, and whatever questions you got, whatever questions you want to ask about the property market, what direction to go in, what's your next move, whatever, about business, about money. You may have a challenge, you may have a situation. Let me know what the question is, and I'll get it answered here on this episode. But until then, let me continue with take you through the schedule and how to deal with this packed out schedule, because I've only just done what's happened so far. So anyway, we left the event in London on Sunday. I got back at 1 a.m. Yeah, 1 a.m. Yeah, and in getting up in 1 a.m., then I had to get up because like our Mondays is known as the MGOTS day. What's the MGOTS day? It's where with all the different businesses, different teams, I actually sit down where we go through the mission, the goals, the outcomes, the targets, and the schedule. That's what MGOTS is. This is something we teach. This is something we run our businesses by. This gives us focus, clarity, why we still know the big picture. Let me know what you think, by the way, with this type of thing. Whether you think that's decent or what. Or you'd like to implement it for your business. Yeah, because in 2023, I want to help mentor, coach people to build their either property business or business, 100,000 people. That's how many people I want to mentor and coach in 2023. If you want to be one of those people, let me know in here, and we can start that process. Yeah. So anyway, so being here, then waking up in the morning, having the normal kids routine with two of the kids. Two of the kids weren't here. Two of the kids was here. We got into our first meeting, and then training, then some team time, some Q&As and all this. Then I had to get on the tennis court. He said, didn't play for the last 3 days. I need to play tennis for every single day because I'm away again on Wednesday night. Jesus, Wednesday night. Yeah. So anyway, I played tennis, came back in, had another meeting with the construction team, had a shower, back to a reporting meeting where we produced management information. That overran by about 21 minutes, I believe. But luckily I gave myself half an hour buffer for me to start recording a new webinar about getting started in property at 3 o'clock. So we managed to do that. So that'll be going out very soon. So if you want to get started in property as well, just put GSIP in the comments here. Put GSIP in the comments here and all the rest of it. Yeah, and I'm going to start answering some of these questions. So please keep putting your questions in. If you just put a hashtag as well, hashtag, and then ask your question, I'm going to be able to find it easy amongst all of these questions. Yeah. That's all of these questions. Rightio. So let's get to it. So yeah, so that's what's happened. Now I'm on this, and after this, I've got another meeting about our resorts, because the real life resorts, the environment to work, rest, and play. What is the real life resorts all about? That's what it is. Office space. Come and work in an empowering environment in a resort in a wonderful setting. So this is what our resorts will be like. Come work, rest, so have treatments, massages, come and do some yoga. They're going to be breathing, shaman processes. These are this is the environment for you to get financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually fit, develop these and move these forward. That's what we're looking to do with these results here. Absolutely. Well done, Danny. And this, I just got Facebook user. Who is Facebook user? Oh, I think I can see it on my other screen. Richard Talbot, is that you? Did you put shared? Yeah, excellent. So by the way, put a hashtag and then ask your question, because I'll be able to find it amongst the comments a lot easier, because I can only see all the comments that are across all the platforms that this is streaming on right now. So even if you're on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're watching this on, and you see there's any comments, like for me, I'm seeing them all in one list. Anyway, let's get back to the schedule. So I got that tonight. After this, straight after this, that's what I'm going to be doing. The real life resorts, work, rest, and play. Oh, and play. Yeah, play tennis, play golf. Like, not all of them are going to have golf courses. All of them are going to have tennis courts, though. And if it doesn't have one, I'll build one. That's what we're going to be doing. Yeah. So after that, I've got to finish the introduction to my book, because the book is finished. The book is called Your Path to Business and Property Wealth. And then it's action. Sorry, no, what does it say? Strategy, mindset, action, or some way, I don't know which way around it is. And then it's 0 to 2 million to 10 million. Now, why does it say that on the front cover of the book? Because the principles in that book have seen myself and now taking others from 0 to 2 million to 10 million. And that's what's in that book. So that's what I'll be finished after that. So then I'm going to need to get some sleep, because I will be up at 4 a.m. I'm back into my morning routine, which I have missed. Dare I say, I've missed my cold pool. I definitely missed the sauna. I missed my space here, because I've been away for a while. So I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. And then what else have I got to happen? Then I've got 2 team meetings in the morning, 3 meetings, 4. Got 4 meetings, one after the other. We got accounts. It's called the AIR meeting, accounts intelligence review. I've got a meeting with my one of my agents who manages some of my properties. We've got a construction meeting. We have a team meeting, and we've got a meeting about the marketing as well. So all of those are going to happen. Then I've got to get my ass on the tennis court. Then we've got some website briefing, because we've got the creative construction website to put together, let people know about all the exciting projects we've been doing. Also the turnkey service, plus the resorts, resorts website, and the backbone of that needs putting together. The Harvey PSG website, the Real Life Sales Training website, the Real Life Group website, all these different websites, right? The Real Life University website, all of these things are going to be put together. And then, oh my goodness, then I got called with the solicitor. You don't really want to know about that. It's a bit naughty. But anyway, I've got to deal with it. Then I have a session with my good spiritual teacher. It was more spiritual session. Like, I call it coaching still, but it's not like my business coaching or my mindset coaching or anything like that. It is more, coming from a spiritual point of view. Then I've got to put together some pieces for Real Life Property Wealth, which is a 2-day event happening on the 26th and 27th of this month. So then I'll be doing that. Then I'll be having dinner with the kids. And then after that, I'm going to have date night. I did move my money management session from where tennis is, because I can't play tennis in the evening anymore. I used to play after in the evening, but it's dark now, especially at my court here. So when I'm on the indoor court with a coach and everything, then that's okay, because it's indoors and there's lights. But when I'm playing here, I now switched it to have to play in the day, which I love. So then back to bed, back up at 4 a.m. the next day. So anyway, my morning routine, by the way, is a meditation, then yoga, then the sauna, then going into the cold pool, then come back in here, write my goals down and my vision and everything, read a book, get in then into the gym by 6:30 with my trainer. And then I come in, have breakfast with the kids. Then we'll take the kids to school. Then 1, 2 meetings happening. 3 meetings. Then a coaching session, then some lunch. Then I'm going to warm up and leave to go to tennis coaching in Derby. Okay. Oh, yeah. So then I've got a meeting while I'm in the car. Got to utilize this time, right? Got to utilize this time. I got a meeting while I'm in the vehicle on the dog and bone. Yeah, on the dog and bone. Very good. Yeah, so keep your questions coming, by the way. Put a hashtag questions, put the hashtag and then the question, just so I can find it in the comments, because as soon as I've finished this, I'm going to stop going day for day anyway. But then I got coaching session. Then we got the DYTP Mastermind, which is part of Real Life University. Then we got the strategy evening, which Warren Reed, the amazing Warren Reed for the Real Life Tribe, is going to be hosting. So he's going to be doing that. But that night, Wednesday night, then I'll be leaving, because then I've got an event back in London, same place I was before, starting on Thursday. Then we've got group mentoring, which I'll be hosting on Thursday evening. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be at the event. I'll leave at the event on Sunday. Back here for Monday, and oh my goodness, it starts all over again, and we have a solid week all the way through. Got a cheeky speed awareness course to do in the middle of that week as well. Might as well just throw that out there, being totally open. And then we have Real Life Property Wealth on the 26th and 27th. Yeah, so we'll be rocking that. So then we go into the next week, and then we've got a full-on week. It's the end of the month. I do all my money management. I like to pay a lot of invoices. I like to see, all the coaches, all the trainers, and everyone gets paid part of Real Life. As well as all the construction and the other invoices that are going to be there. I like to manage my own credit cards, all my 0%, making sure that all my investments are working, like non-negotiable, once a month, full on, solid, a few hours. How many hours I got? Like, how many hours is that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's like 11 hours across 2 days. I got scheduled to focus on all of that. I love that. And by the way, I got shot practice in between, coaching sessions in between with the tennis, as well as coaching with my business coach in there as well. Then what we're doing? Then we're going to Hertfordshire for a tennis tournament. Come on. That is where I've got to make sure I've got lots of practice in. I lost every single game so far, by the way. My LTA ranking games, I lost every single game. You can go to the LTA website and see 9 losses from 9 games. I'm going to win my first game. It's going to happen soon. But I'm not bothered. And this is why I feel like I'm in a good position to teach people about business, because it's not about losing. Who said that it's a loss anyway? Oh my God, here's my guest. So we're going to have to answer the questions, but also we're going to see if our guest can come into the stream as well. This looks like they're logging on, so we'll see that. So you see, you're persistent, you show up, you got the right vibration, and in the end, it all happens all good. But let me carry on. So check this out. I said I'm going to go win Wimbledon. Put it in the comments if you remember this. Yeah, put it in the comments if you remember this. And then we go in. So that's Saturday, that tournament. It's a one-day tournament Saturday. And then Sunday, we're in Wimbledon. I'll be playing tennis in Wimbledon. I said I was going to win Wimbledon by next year. This is our road to it. And then, by the way, the week after the Real Life Awards. So let me welcome this guest on here right now. Yeah, here we go. You're coming in. Can you hear me?
I can. We're checking our sound. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We're already live,
I did not know that we're live at all because I have a different start time than now. So is this the start time?
Well, the start time was 26 minutes ago. I don't know what happened. I said,
yeah, we actually double checked twice today, so I'm not really sure how that happened at all.
so I got some investigating to do, but
yeah, absolutely, that would be.
Yeah, but thank you.
I just exchanged emails like an hour ago about it. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I will be sorting that out. So I apologize for any inconvenience, but hey, thank you so much for jumping on here.
Sure.
We kind of went off on a little bit of a different tangent, and there's some questions in here, but hey, we'll get to them later. Let's hear from you because we've still got the crawler at the bottom, which is your information, which is your skills, and we want to get as much out of you now in the time we've got left. Which is,
I guess so. I'm ready for the mic check. So So you definitely caught me off guard for that. I'm totally confused. All right, but go ahead, Mark. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. This is Real Life Game Changers panel, where we bring people who change the game for themselves and have a massive impact. And that is definitely being done by you. So give us like the highlight reel of Garrison. Like, what is it like growing up, and what did you go through to then be doing what you are doing and what you've achieved today?
Well, I guess I'll start out by saying that I didn't plan on any of this. I got out of college. I was a stand-up comedian. I was trying to be a stand-up comedian. Then I ended up actually, getting booked and working with some famous people and was earning a living as a pro stand-up. So that's what happened out of college. With a degree in psychology, I thought, well, what am I going to do? And that's what I did. My parents were not happy that I was doing stand-up, but I started making money and I was successful. And I did that for a while and made a couple of bad movies and a couple of weird commercials. That's what I was doing. And then I kind of decided I was going to go a different direction. I went into corporate America a little bit. When I got into corporate America, I had a strange thing happen, and that is my boss quit, and I got his job. And a couple of strange things happened. Next thing you know, I'm like a 27-year-old Fortune 500 VP, kind of by accident, not by anything I did. So I was managing people who are older than I was, and I'm 61 years old now, so I was working with people who were World War II vets in the mid-'80s. These were the guys that wouldn't retire, and so they were difficult to deal with. But I learned something. I learned that if you criticize others' ideas, they'll never use yours. And I learned that to be influential, you had to understand what people really valued and really believed in. It didn't matter how good your ideas are, because people don't choose what's best. They choose what they're comfortable with, whether it's the best or not. So good ideas aren't good enough. I had to understand what they believed in and what they valued and what their experience was. And so I learned the hard way and by fire, for lack of a better expression, how to be influential when the odds are against you. In other words, I learned how to win an unfair fight. I was in a very difficult situation, got lucky to be in that situation, but learned from there. So I was doing that. And then I went back and did some more stand-up and some things like that, back into corporate America with a smaller company. And then I worked for a company where we were doing a lot of interesting products. I developed a bunch of products with some engineering groups that are still sold in about 30 countries now. We got lucky with that, I think. We worked hard, but we got lucky too. I believe, by the way to get really lucky is to work really hard. And then I decided I wanted to get on my own. I didn't want to work for anybody anymore. Mark, I got tired of making other people rich. That's what I got tired of. So I started my own company without a lot of great ideas or money. But I worked hard. And what I ended up doing, my idea was a training company, but since I've been a pro stand-up, I was good in front of an audience. So I ended up doing a lot of keynote presentations, like just an hour, just a corporate thing for an hour. And I worked on it. And I worked on it and got better and better. And then opportunities started to come. And the next thing you know, I was all over the world, speaking to, it could be Chevron, it could be American Express, it could be Berkshire Hathaway, it could be whoever. And that was an interesting thing to happen. I started doing that in 1995. I had some interesting things happen along the way where, as I got successful, I started to watch other people and other companies become successful. But that's kind of what happened to me. I mean, I guess I ended up in the position I am for lack of other skills. I was a little better in front of an audience than I was at other things. So I've got more to say about that, but that's kind of what happened.
So there's some big brands here, like you've delivered these keynotes, and I want to get into a little bit more of like what these people in the business get from it and what the audience listening can get from it as well. But like Amazon, you mentioned Berkshire Hathaway, NASA as well.
Right, correct.
Yeah, Shell. I mean, these are some huge companies, creating big impact on the planet. What is it when you go into these places? What is it that you feel that they're seeking, like the employees or the leaders of these type of organizations? What are they seeking, and what can you give them, and what did you give them?
Well, that's changed a bit over time, but the main thing is, do you have the personal influence to make anything else work? So whether you're a leader of a big company or a guy sweeping up a floor, whatever, when you're having conversations with people and you're talking to people, are they listening? Do you know how to get people to do what you want them to do? So whatever you're trying to achieve, you have the personal influence to do it. So if you're talking about leadership or communication or change or whatever it is, are you personally influential enough to do that? And that requires a certain kind of communication. That requires a certain kind of style, an approach you would have that people are actually willing to listen to what you have to say. They trust you. And people Trust is built on the foundation of two things: compassion and competence. Compassion and competence. They believe that you care about them and what's important and what they value, and they believe that you can do your job. And that's usually based on how well you've actually defined that for them. If people believe those things, two things, they'll trust you pretty quickly. But you have to do that to make other stuff work. So it's very difficult. So good ideas and great processes or processes, whatever it is that you're trying to offer, that's everywhere. I mean, everybody's got a good idea. Good ideas are a dime a dozen. But will they take it from you? Do they think that your idea, the way you present it, is a good idea? I believe there's about 25 good ideas for the last 500 years. That's about it. We keep regurgitating and repurposing these same ideas, but it's who's presenting it. People listen to a certain person, and they listen to that person because that person makes them feel valuable. That person understands who they are, and they can clearly explain the value of what they're talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense. So like obviously there's people, different leadership positions, but let's kind of put it out a little bit to like maybe some of the listeners here, business owners, property entrepreneurs, people who want to
Right.
raise capital. Like what skills should they be looking to acquire or exercise for them to, you know, scale, like either get started and start scaling up?
Okay.
What's the foundation they should be looking at?
So two things, and I don't talk about it often. I don't do a lot of interviews like this where I talk about this, but I will today. I'm older, I can talk about it now. Most people don't understand what marketing is. It's not, it's not about your likes and your followers, and that means nothing. I mean, you can get all the likes and followers you want to. Are they check writers? You can have 1 million followers that can't make you a nickel, and you can have 11 that'll make you millions. That's the truth. So it depends on, do you know how to actually find the people, to connect to the people who actually really are your customers? Not the ones who could be or might be or should be, but who are they really? And in order to do that, you have to actually really understand specifically what's valuable to them. And that means you have to understand what they do and understand what their problems are and ask them specific questions. And one of the questions is the world's most simple question, and that is, so what's really important to you? You'll find out, well, what's going to derail your customer's business? How are they not in business? What are the big problems that they're having? So in order to market, you have to have a psychological profile and understand who they are, step one. And most people don't do that. Most people think if I can just throw a bunch of stuff out there, if I can make something look cool, or if I've got a great idea, that somehow I'm going to make money. It's not true. The second thing is that most people will look at a really great market that's really doing well with all these people doing well in it and jump in that market. That's the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do is go find a bunch of competition and go beat heads with them and compete with them. No, I've studied for years the most successful companies. You know what they do? They go where people suck. That's right. They go where people aren't very good and they compete against those people. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be in a fair fight. Hell, I could lose a fair fight, Mark. I want to be in a lopsided battle I can win. I look for the markets that are just served horribly, just beat the hell out of those guys. They weren't any good. Why would I go? Why would I go? I mean, if I have a gun, I'd like to go to a knife fight. I can win a knife fight with a gun. But if I've got to fight it out, that's very difficult. And so that's the reason people are really successful. They go into a place that's poorly served. So I'll give you an example. So years ago, I had my first website, 1997, my first website. There were a few options back then. The ones I remember was a company called Ask Jeeves. That was a marketing company. It was a search engine. And there was a Backrub. We decided to go with Backrub. We liked Larry. Larry's good. About 6 months into working with Backrub, Larry calls up and says, we're going to change the name of the company. We're going to call it Google. I said, Larry, that's a terrible name. That's what I told Larry. Bad idea. But the thing about it is that what Larry told us then, I was the 44th advertiser for Google AdWords. They didn't call it that back then, but the 44th customer for marketing. But what Larry did and how they became Google was Larry knew how badly other things were being done. He knew the other search engines were not good. He knew that the ability for people with a website to draw business to them, the people in that field were terrible. And he focused specifically on that. That's the truth. So Warren Buffett says some interesting things, but one of the things Warren Buffett says is, he was always looking to invest in companies that were around bad competitors. Where are the companies that we know will probably beat their competitors very badly? He looked at those companies. So if you look at people who really made money, that's what they understand. This idea that I'm going to jump on a bandwagon where everybody's fighting it out, not so much. So those are two major things I would tell an entrepreneur. Find out exactly what your customers value, what they believe in, and what their problems are, and then go look in the market that's poorly served. And one of the things that you can do is that take a look at your competition and see where their weaknesses are, and then just list those as your strengths. Because if that's what the market's telling them, that they're not good, if you've got a company that's big and it's good, but their delivery is slow, they can't deliver the product fast enough, then you come out with your number one asset as being fast. So I just look for that. And to go deeper in that a little bit, there's the big company, small company pitch. If I'm the big company, I'm going to tell you that the small company is too small, and if times are tough, they can't even afford to be in business. They can't afford to serve you if you grow. That's what big companies say to squash small companies. What small companies say is, hey, I know these guys are great. They've been around 30 years. We've been around 2 years. They're bigger than we are. They do all kinds of great stuff. The problem is they got 9,000 or 9 million customers just like you. I've got 9. I'm going to pay more attention to you. I'm willing to do more for you than they ever would. Nothing against them. They're good people, but you're just not important enough to them. You're much more important to me. That's what we tell. So those are different aspects of, that's what I'd say.
That is some great advice. And I think if people are going to be able to take this and translate it into whatever their business is, but
Right.
like if we like, it's very interesting you say about, like, let's not go compete with someone who's doing it good. Let's find a hole. Let's find someone who's not doing it
Right.
well. And a lot of our people in our community, they're like property entrepreneurs.
Right.
And people are always asking, when is is it now a right time? And, over the last, I don't know how long, 20 years, there's always been something going on that could make you think,
right.
Right. Do I go? Do I wait? I mean, I'm not sure what anybody would wait for. Like, what are we waiting for? I don't know.
Mark, that's a great question. Mark, that's great. Like the question that you're asking yourself, what are you waiting for? I mean, what are you waiting for yourself to feel better? I need to feel better to start. Maybe I don't feel right. Are you waiting for the market to change? I mean, I think I got to find out first if it's you're waiting on yourself, or you're waiting on something to change in the market. I've said that now's the time to do anything. We love to talk about coming in at the perfect time. How do you do that? I think that's a myth. It's hindsight. Well, we got it at the perfect time.
Exactly. I think the only person that can say that is someone looking back to say, oh,
that's exactly right.
Or it wasn't.
Right.
So like, I think in the property industry, the strategy, what you just said, which is find other people that are not doing it well, is gold.
That's right.
Is gold. And
absolutely.
And as you were saying it, I was thinking, you know what? In 2017, we kind of did that by accident.
Right.
Like in this country, in England, there's like there's a strategy which is called like HMO, stands for houses of multiple occupancy. I don't know if you know that.
Right.
And like some people were just putting a lock on a room and a bed in it and calling it,
right.
Yeah. So then we were like furnishing it properly, decorating it, making it look beautiful, creating communal areas for people to hang out.
Right.
And that was one phase. And then the next phase was people started putting all these drapey lights and wonderful colors on the wall. And it was just always like, what is someone not doing?
Right.
Making it look cool, making it comfortable, because that type of accommodation is not like, people never say, oh, this is my dream home. It's no one's ever dream home. It's like 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, or like, contractors, commuters, these type of people. And they weren't doing it. So that's a great strategy. What would your advice be to someone like, because you work with some amazing businesses, they need to raise capital. What about the entrepreneur who can raise capital either for their property deals or for their business? How can they separate, or how can they approach? What would your advice be to approach like the marketing aspect to raise capital? How would one say, hey, look, I am a good investment?
Right. Well, one of the things about being a good investment is to look like a good investment. So that means if you're going to go get people to invest in you, whether it's, private equity group or if it's a bank or whoever it is that's going to invest in you, you have to look like it. So that means that if you show up and you have a great idea, but you can't visualize it, it's very difficult to get investors. So that means having the best website you can possibly have, being able to clearly explain the deliverable that people are going to get, and you have to have a good presentation for an investor. And by the way, the best presentations, when we talk to investors who said we're going with that organization, we're going to buy this company or invest in this company, or we're going to partner with these people, those presentations are 10 minutes, not 30. They're quick. They get to the point. Here's what investors know. If it takes you that long to explain your value, you probably don't have any. It takes you 30 minutes to convince me that you've got some value. There's a lot of places for me to look at your presentation to find the garbage in there. But if it's short, it's sweet, it's 10 minutes, and that way you kind of leave them wanting a bit rather than trying to explain the whole history of your existence. So that's one thing I would say. 10 minutes is probably good. But also, your website has to look good. It's worth the money to invest in somebody that's got good graphics. Now, it depends on what your market is. If in my market, if my website looks too good, a lot of people think it's too expensive. We learned that a long time ago, that if we go and spend the super nice, killer, big corporate-looking website, then there's a lot of businesses that don't come our way. So we've learned to make the website okay, but not that great. If you're looking at people to invest money, what is their expectation? What do they think the website should look like? So I would talk to people who are potential investors and say, what would you be looking for? So it might be just talking to people first before you present anything. Have some conversations. It's kind of interesting. It can go in your favor to go, hey, look, we have a great thing we're going to roll out. We're not really rolling it out right now. We're just kind of testing the waters and asking some questions before we roll it out. Here's a couple of questions for you. And don't show them anything. Just ask them what they want. And after you gather that kind of, then when you come back to them, they're definitely going to want to talk to you, because you wouldn't even show them what you had before. So here's a couple of questions. We're not showing anything yet. We're kind of waiting to roll this out when we're ready. Here's a couple of questions for you. Gather that information, again, to find out what they value. Last thing about investors, they don't really care a lot sometimes about what you love. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we get really passionate about something about our business. There is this passion point. We love this part of it. I'm really passionate. Doesn't help unless you know what they're really passionate about. And what they're really passionate about is making money back fast. That's what they're passionate about. So be careful about going in this direction about what you love about something without really being able to say, hey, here's why this makes money quickly. We have a plan to be able to take it far enough that we can make it worth. Here's how this investment is worth it. We're looking at 2 years. Here's what we predict this to look like in a 2-year period. So this is not a 10-year plan here. Well, the best things you can say is, hey, step one, what we're talking about is not a 10-year plan. We're looking at getting up and running, Now, if you've got a long-term deal that's going to take a long time to develop, well, that's a different story. And you may have to really explain what that is. I would be very careful. If you really want to get a business up and running, I would find a way that you make money fast and get profitable fast. The insurance business and things like that are these long-term businesses you can build for a long period of time. But investors are very leery about that because things can change. They'd love to know that you're doing well quickly. So that's my advice on that.
And I think what you said is so brilliant. Some of the people here have been on in our trainings, in our communities.
Right.
They'll know because an entrepreneur is different, right? Like you got to go. Like if you don't have something, you just got to go with what you've got. Like like this 10-minute presentation thing. I love this idea. Like we very often get people to make the calls to just say, yeah, I'm working on this deal. What do you think? Like, can I just ask your opinion on it? And like people, sometimes latch onto it and they'll start
Right.
raising, hundreds of thousands of pounds, and other people are like, I'm not quite sure. So,
Right.
so I'm so glad you just said what you said, because it is that whole kind of psychology of like, look, just give them a little bit, point them in this direction, leave them wanting more. So it's like
Right.
leaving room for questions rather than that,
Right.
man, like this guy's talked for so long. I don't want to ask a question because
Right.
I don't want it to go on any longer.
That's exactly right. They're like, yeah, the last thing I'm asking is a question. I don't want to extend this one more second. I've had all I can handle. But remember though too, so if a presentation is really, really clear, you don't get so many questions as you get, hey, that was good. I like that. And they start talking about moving forward. If you're getting a ton of questions about what you presented, it's because you're not clear. That's one thing to understand. Clarity is king. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If no one knows what the hell you're talking about, it doesn't matter. So clarity is clear. I saw a presentation one time, and it was from a British company. These two British guys were making this presentation, and it was interesting because it went really, really long, and it wasn't clear. And one of the reasons that it wasn't clear is that one of the gentlemen was really enamored by one element, and he thought that one thing, right, was the cool thing. Well, it was cool to him, but it didn't matter much to the audience, and he went on too long about that one thing. So that's really good evidence to show you that figure out what people really want. What are they really looking for? Understand, give some examples of potential customers that are interested in a certain thing, and you've got a history of what these people want and buy, and use that as an example. Say, here we're talking to this company here. Here's what they're looking for. Here's what we offer. We already know. One of the best things you can say to investors, we've got people waving checks right now. We're just going to go meet them. We're not trying to educate people on why they should buy. They already want to buy. We're going out to find the buyers waving the checks. That's a very powerful thing to say to investors, because again, you got a great idea. You try to sell them on an idea. Nobody wants an idea. They want to know that you've got something that's going to actually make money, because they're customers who want it now. That's the power of Google AdWords. There's all kinds of marketing you can do, email marketing and all that kind of stuff. And I don't work with Google or have any stock. I spend money on Google AdWords and I've made millions of dollars on Google AdWords. So I've made money doing it. I can tell you that. But the reason I've stuck with Google AdWords is this. I can send 1 billion emails to people who do not know who I am and have to educate them on why they should buy. Or I can run an ad, and there are people searching for that already. I know what the search terms are. I know what they're looking for. I know what their history is. I know what they want. And they're literally looking for it every minute of every day. So when I run those ads, boom, 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 they're coming to me. Yeah, we're not hunting anybody. Yeah, they're coming to us. But they're already looking. So my advice, there's probably, if you have a product that's, even halfway okay, people are already looking for it now. Go find the lookers. Stop convincing people. Go find the lookers. They're out there right now. I mean, there are people who buy all kinds of weird stuff these days. I mean, there are people selling some weird crap on the internet and making a lot of money. That means people are looking for everything. So find out what people are looking for that you can sell to them. And if you're talking about real estate, there are some specific things people want in real estate. And so it varies from area to area. It might be different in the UK than it is the US, but find out, investigate. If you're gonna do some research what these people want and what they're looking for now, and then you have that, you run an ad and, well, wow, I'm looking for that. So what we do is we have people every day or every month or every week say, hey, we saw this and we're looking for this, because we know.
Awesome.
Right.
It's obvious you got extensive, to be successful, people have got to know what marketing is, right? Whether it be the conversation, the presentation, or like you say, attracting the right people to come into your business, whether it's a client, investor, or even recruiting the right team members is a marketing game.
Big deal. Yeah, the right people is a huge deal. Most of what I do these days is I talk to big companies and some small companies too, but large companies that are having a hard time finding and keeping employees. The biggest problem in the US right now is being able to find people who want to work. We have 48% of people aged 22 to 32 are not looking for a full-time job. Never. That's half a generation not looking for work. Now, I'm not saying it's happening all over the world. That could be an American problem. A little bit in Canada too. I don't really know in the UK about. I do some business in the UK, but not a lot. But I don't know if that's the issue there. But so companies, how do we get people to want to work for us, and how do we get them to stay? How do we create a culture of engagement where people want to work here and perform their best? That's what I'm doing a lot of. I'm speaking around the country and around some other countries doing that as well. So
for sure, I think things
focus now.
Things have definitely changed. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's like people are not looking for a full-time job, but what they're not looking for is that normal, no flexibility, 9 to 5 with a commute on each end of the 9 to 5.
That's right.
They're not looking for that.
Right. So if you're going to hire employees, you got to know who they are, what they think, what they believe. And we know that in this country, if you're at that age, 22 to 32, I'm 61 years old. My generation raised them. If there's something wrong with them, it's our fault. But whatever it is, but we did it. But we raised them a certain way. I call it bulldozer parenting. We cleared a path and made sure they didn't have any problems. We solved the problem before they had them. Therefore, they didn't get to fail young. They didn't get to learn how to do difficult things carefully, and they lack resilience and maybe a bit sensitive. But we did that to them. So since that's who they are, we have to manage them for who they are, not who we wish they were. Worst leadership strategy on earth is wishing people were like you. It's ridiculous. They're not going to be like you. You got to manage them for who they are. There are no more new young people. These are them. So we have to manage them for who they are. So if we approach them that way, knowing who they are and treat them that way, then we can do very well. There's nothing wrong with the young people a bit. It's just that they were raised differently than you are. If you're, over 45 years old, you're raised completely different. So you got to acknowledge that and not expect these young people ought to do what I did and pay the dues. They're going to put a dinosaur stamp on your head and shove you in a hole. It's not going to work. So
I love it. Yeah. So we only got 5 minutes left. Unfortunately, we started late, but it's been awesome.
Is this the mic test? I'm kidding. Still the mic test. Is this the mic? Is this the mic check? I think this is the mic. I got an AV guy here. Is this the mic check? Okay, sorry. If it is, it's a great mic check. This is my favorite mic check I've ever had.
Oh, awesome. Good. No, we just dive straight in. So 5 minutes. I want to ask you 3 questions, just so you know.
Sure.
Like, we want to be a quick fire on these. Yeah. So first one is just give people like top level, high level highlights, the cowbell principle.
Well, the cowbell principle is about making sure that what you are doing, your idea or your product or your service or your approach is what's wanted. So there's a lot of things that you like. I talked about your passion, but what are people looking for? There's a Saturday Night Live sketch called More Cowbell. It had Christopher Walken and Will Ferrell in it. And in that sketch, Will Ferrell's beating the cowbell. The band's upset about it, but the guy paying the check, Christopher Walken, says, "I need more cowbell." So as ridiculous as it seems to everybody else, the person writing the check says more cowbell. Make sure the check writers and the people who can forward your circumstances are the ones you're listening to and not other people. You're going to find detractors and jealous people who want to talk you down. Make sure you're focused on the people who really are the ones that can take you where you want to go. That was the point of that. The opposite of a cowbell is an idea that is wanted. The opposite of that is a bagpipe. A bagpipe is something that nobody wants. I'm not going to criticize bagpipes, especially since I know I've got people in the UK. Maybe there's some Scottish people who love bagpipes, but nobody's buying a lot of bagpipe records. Nobody goes, how about I go down and buy a bagpipe? Nobody's streaming bagpipe music. I'm pretty sure that's not happening. And if I've offended people in Scotland, I'm sorry you invented the bagpipe. Sorry about that. You did it.
They're good. They're in good spirit. I am actually half Scottish. My dad was born in Scotland, so
there you go.
Yeah. So
I was in Glasgow and I couldn't understand what people were talking about, and the food was questionable. Other than that, I love the people. It's great.
Yeah, they're good characters, cool people.
They're great people. They were wonderful. Wonderful people. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what you say has so much relevance to property, by the way, this whole cowbell, because some people, they're trying to raise investment and they're getting so excited over like floor plans or architects or what it's going to be. And some people, they don't care. Like
that's right.
It's that whole thing you said before, like just ask some questions. And
That's right.
but people need to or seem to need this step 1 to 500 rather than just let's do the first 5
That's
steps
right.
first, see what happens then.
And when it comes to kind of real estate, it's really like I remember a realtor was trying to sell me a house, and she loved the tree in the backyard, and she loved the terrazzo, whatever that is, floor that was like on the porch. So she loved the tree and she loved the porch, and she talked about it. The house kind of sucked. She didn't mention that part. So she was jazzed about something I didn't care about. She was in love with the tree, and it was a beautiful tree. I'm not buying a tree; I'm buying a house. So yeah, I remember that. She
Awesome.
loved that. She loved that tree.
Yeah, also 2 last questions. I want to try and quick
Yeah,
fire these to wrap them up.
sure.
So, like, I always ask everyone just to see, what's at the forefront of people's brain. What do they think? What do they think the message the world needs to receive right now in these times? So, if you got a microphone that translates to every language on the planet, what's your 30-second message?
I think that being compassionate and having people understand that you care is really important. We're living in a time right now. Some of that had to do with COVID, but the last 5 or 10 years, people have this idea that people don't really care about them. And that's not really true. I mean, being able to care and showing a level of kindness and compassion, if people see you've got a detectable level of compassion, they'll just choose you over those they believe do not. Every time. Absolutely. So just show that.
Nice. Love it. Thank you. Great advice.
Yeah,
Last question. So before I ask
sure.
this question, I want to say sorry for the confusion at the beginning, but even in this short time, what an amazing golden nuggets advice. If people just take this, translate it to their business, oh my goodness, even just in the short little piece that we've had here, it's amazing. So thank you so much for coming on. And I think we'll have to have a rematch somewhere.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So here's my last question. In our
Yeah,
community, we have a saying. The saying is that you always got to do the right thing for the right reason. Now, why
right.
is
Yeah. So you're asking that. I love that, by the way. The right thing is to make sure that you're willing to work hard. In other words, good ideas and working smart, you're going to lose every time to the person working hard. You can't outsmart effort. You just can't outsmart effort. Historically we've seen that you can't outsmart effort. So that's the one thing that I think that you need to be able to do. What was the second part of the question?
no, that was the question. So, like, got to do the right thing for the right reason. Why is that? And I'm loving your answer.
Yeah. So the thing is that you can't outsmart effort. So effort's really important. But the right reason is because you actually want to help people. If you're in a business where your goal is to help people get what they want and need, if that's the goal, people can see it, they can smell it, they can taste it, they know it. If you're just in a business trying to generate revenue, they can also see that as well. So really get clear about what you really want to do. The people who really want to help people, even if you're just an investment person, you want to give a better return to your client. So it can be about money, but you want to help other people. You want to help other people as well. You can't really be successful all by yourself, and you certainly can't be successful if the world detects you as selfish. Very difficult to get people behind you and on your side. So.
Beautiful. Thank you. You've been amazing. I would love to add you to our reel. The message that I always want to get what people's answers are.
Right.
And our little saying that we have, the tagline is you got to do the right thing for the right reason because it's the only way to discover your true potential. Are you
Right.
able to, am I able to ask you again and you say that as the answer? It's the only way to discover your true potential?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay,
I
so
agree. Yep.
so let me do it again. And then it's the only way to discover your true potential. So, Garrison, we have a saying in our community, you got to do the right thing for the right reason. Now, why is that?
I'm not sure what we're doing here. So are you feeding me? Start again.
You're supposed to say it's the only way to discover your true potential.
Hold on a second. This is not the mic check. I'm actually doing this. Go ahead. Sorry, I want to make sure. Say it again.
Yes, I asked a question and you said it's the only way to discover your true potential.
Okay. The only way to discover your true potential is to do the right thing for the right reason.
Nice. I love it. Let's go with that. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Garrison. Until next time, as Garrison said, you've got to do the right thing for the right reason, because it is the only way to discover